Hey mech warriors, welcome to Bad Ben's Battle Mechs. I'm Bad Ben. Today we have the House Davion Cavalry Lance, hot new item from Catalyst Game Labs. Wow, it's not that new. It's been out for a few weeks now already. I was slow to get it. It costs a lot. This thing costs too much, in my opinion, honestly. I've been watching it, and yeah, it was bought up by all the eBay scalpers. It's on eBay. Anyway, I'm not going to complain about that. Well, just a little bit. It was too expensive. But I got it anyway, and it's here, and we're going to unbox it. We're going to have a look at the models. We'll have a look at the Alpha Strike cards and the Pilot cards. And afterwards, I even want to take a look at the classic record sheets for each of these guys. Just that you know, the variants that are here on the Alpha Strike cards. We'll take a look at the classic record sheets. Yeah, so let's get to it already. Open it up. I already did open it. Sorry, I know. It's not a true unboxing. But I have to look at these things before I put it all on camera, you know? Okay, yeah. So this one comes with a neat little baggie here with those are a couple of weapon variants. I think it's ERPPC and an RAC5. And those go on this dude in that big hole where its head is, or where its head should be, and they just slide into there, and that's really neat. So that's actually the first mech that we've ever gotten that's had kind of a swappable weapon. I think that's probably something they'll want to get into a little more. Yeah, so otherwise we have the Enforcer and the Gunsmith and the Hellspawn, and we'll take a closer look at those right now. And we'll start with the boring one, the Enforcer. This is just there's really not a whole lot new. The weapons I noticed are slightly different. There's like a little tiny bit more greebly stuff on the top of the weapon than the other version I have. Um, but otherwise, it's really just a new pose. Uh, these have been out for quite a while now. Not one of my favorite designs. It's fine, it's a medium mech. Just kind of looks like a dude with a football helmet on and a couple of big long arms. Yeah, the Enforcer. And here, I'll show you. I got my older version, just as a comparison. So you can see it's just a new repose. And it's really hard to see. You can't see. There's a little greebly stuff on the weapons. The weapons do look different, actually. Right? So there is a difference. The other one, yeah, no, they're pretty similar. Yeah, they're not exactly the same. They aren't. This one's got a little bit of extra greebly stuff on the top. Anyway, it isn't really, there's not really a whole lot to talk about it. It's an Enforcer. So, why don't we take a look at the Alpha Strike card? So we got the Enforcer 5D, 27 points, movement 10, jump, TMM 2, 222, overheat 0, armor 5, structure 2, case flak 111. There's really not a whole lot to be said about this. It's a pretty run-of-the-mill medium mech, not a lot of damage. Armor is okay. Movement's okay, not great. The flak's nice if you're shooting anything in the air. That can help out a little bit. Yeah, but it's an Enforcer 5D. So on the other side, we have the Enforcer 5R, which is actually quite different, specifically in the movement 8 instead of 10. Therefore, it is 24 points instead of 27. That leaves it with a TMM of 1, which is pretty vulnerable. Less damage, 2 to 1. Same armor, but one more structure, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that one has 2, whereas the 5R has 3. This one has case 2, which is better. Flak 111, and re-engineered lasers, which lets you do full damage against anybody who's got reflective armor. Special. Nice, it's an enforcer. It's for 24 points, that's not bad. That's definitely not bad. That's good. It's a good amount of armor for 24 points. Damage is standard for that amount. Yeah. That's really all there is to say about the enforcer. 5R. Let's take a look at the pilot card here real quick. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So I'll just show it to you. We got Mark Hall, Melee Master. We got Nicole Ramsey. She's got Jumping Jack. Right. So the Enforcer, the least interesting of the bunch. But now we're done with it. Let's move on. And we're going to do the Hellspawn next. I love this little dude. It's funky looking. For sure, it's funky looking. I feel like it looks like a truck cockpit, like just a regular car. A truck, maybe. You know? They just slapped on a couple of LRM launchers. Funny kind of looking thing. But I like that about BattleTech. It's not always about making everything look super cool, you know. Sometimes it just looks the way it does, and that's the way it is. I really do like the back on this with all those jump jets on the side torsos. That is pretty neat. I like it. I am a fan. Did I show you both sides, or did I go back around the same side? I don't know. Anyway, there it is from that side. There it is from that side. Yeah. As for mold lines, I didn't really talk about the mold lines on the Enforcer. Actually, it's, nothing I can see instantly that pops out. Huh. I don't really see where the mold lines are. I can't see it now. When I paint it, it's probably going to be like they'll stand out and I'll find them. Find them one way or the other. Nice little model though. I like it. I like the goofy kind of asymmetrical guys. All right, so let's take a look at the Alpha Strike card for the Hellspawn. We'll start with the 7D. 31 points. Ooh, not much armor. 31 points, 12 jump, TMM 2, 332, overheat 1, not bad. 3 armor, 2 structure. That's rough. That's very little armor for 31 points. ECM, IF1, and LRM 111 specials. This guy, oof. It does have the IF1. It does have the 2 damage at long. You want to keep this guy out of the center of the fight, probably. Yeah. It has so little armor. Not awesome. Anyways, so that's the Hellspawn 7D. The other side, and we have the 10SR, significantly more points, 39. Does less damage, 221, but it's got movement 12 and a 16 jump, which is actually That's actually quite a significant change. That's a very, very, very different mech. Like the movement's different. What was the movement on this one? 12 jump, TMM2. This guy's got 12 and 16 jump, so it's got improved jump jets. Same armor. No, way better armor. What am I talking about? What completely different. 3 and 2 versus 5 and 2. This one's ECM, Energy Jump Strong 1, Probe, Recon, and Tag, which can all be very useful uh, if you're doing like scan the objective kind of mission or something. You can, with the probe, or I think just with the probe or recon, you can scan and fire in the same round. So that is quite a bonus in certain situations, of course. Yeah, the Hellspawn 10 SR, a very, very, very different mech from from the other side of the card. So who do we have as a pilot? So we got the pilot card. We got Brian Carter. Um, got Ranged Master Medium and Sandblaster LRM specials. We got Guillaume de Rochefort with Street Fighter. Street Fighter's a fun ability. So, Hellspawn. Moving on. This. I like this. I like this mech. I think this might be my favorite of the pack. The Gunsmith. Take a look at that. It's just look at the leg. You can see the leg, how it goes. It just looks fast and menacing. It's got that full head ejection system on the top. I love it. I love it. I think it looks. Oh, I love mechs that look like that. I love legs when legs are cool, um, different. It's not like this is the first guy who has legs like this, but I think they did a really good job on the legs. We'll take a closer look. Yeah, look at all those indents, and yeah, this is just a great, great, great looking model. This, so nice to see. Back is standard, nothing really special. It just looks great from every angle, though. I love it. I love that cockpit. It kind of looks like an alien from, well, the movie Aliens. You know what I mean, right? Oh, it looks so cool. I love this thing. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So, now we've seen the mini. Let's take a quick look at the Alpha Strike card. This thing is yeah. It's expensive, but it is. So we have here. Okay, actually, no, we're not going to start on that side. This is kind of a weird one. It says it has two variants: the CH11NG and the NGA, but they're both identical. And I can't find any mech called the CH11NGA on the master units list. Um, the only other one is the CH11NGC, I believe, I think it's a Cinderella. It's one of these fantasy mechs or something like that. Anyway, this thing is crazy. For a light mech, very, very expensive for a light mech. 36 points, but for that you get movement 26 without jump, but that gives you a TMM of 4. Absolutely absurd. Weapons profile 330. I love that. For a light mech to do 330, overheat 0, 3 armor, 1 structure. So it's going to be hard to hit with that TMM of 4. Unfortunately, you can't jump with it. That would make it even harder to hit. energy and reflective armor special, actually. So the Enforcer, I believe it was the Enforcer that had the re-engineered laser, could do full damage to this. However, other things, especially if it has ENE special, meaning it's all energy weapons, it does half damage. I think all other types of mechs do one less damage, actually, to this mech with that reflective armor. It works a little different in classics, but in Alpha Strike, reflective armor is actually very, very good. I wonder in Alpha Strike, does it take into account? In classic, reflective armor is very susceptible to physical attacks. And I don't know exactly the rules on that in Alpha Strike. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same. Anyways, you're probably not going to be able to physically attack this thing because you're never going to be able to get in range, seeing as it can move 26 inches in a turn. Anyways, I love this thing. I think this is just one of the coolest looking, funnest mechs, just that speed. So yeah, the other side says NGA, but as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same mech. They just painted this one yellow. So there you go. The Gunsmith. And that brings us. Oh, no, wait. Before I take that away, we'll look at the pilot card real quick. We've got Indira Zibbler, who's got Dodge. Oh, that could be very useful for this. And we have Abraham Adafope with Iron Will. All right. So that is the Gunsmith. Very, very nice looking mech. I just love it. All right. So moving on to the main attraction. This really is the main attraction. It's a very nice model. I love it. We have the Legionnaire, and at the moment it has no weapon in that little slot. Let me just get. So this is an RAC5, and it really just slots in there really well. It doesn't, like, I could shake it, drop it, roll it around. It doesn't. It seems to be in there really well. It's good fit, which is nice. You don't have to glue it in and like decide on one. You can actually change it up from mission to mission if you want, or whatever. But just look at that thing. I love the arms on it are crazy long. I don't know why they don't. They don't have weapons. Well, they probably have weapons. They're not like gun arms, is what I mean. Uh, they're just like long arms with hands. Look at the back of that thing. Oh, if you pick it up by the weapon can come off. Look at that. Neat. Just an all-around neat looking dude. I love the cockpit being underneath the gun. I think I read something about it having a center torso cockpit. So the cockpit isn't in the head like it usually is. Wow, this thing just looks so cool. I love it. I do love it. But not quite as much as the Gunsmith. Quite. So, I just love it. We're going to actually swap out that weapon, and I'll show you the ERPPC. Right, so that's what that looks like. Nice looking model. Let's take a look at the Alpha Strike card. I like the paint job on that guy. It's nice. This, it's it's 37 points, but look at the movement, 18 and 14 jump. The interesting thing about that is often when you have a lower jump than your main movement, you end up with weak 1, meaning you lose a TMM. But because it all falls still within the TMM3 range bracket, 14 jump still is TMM3, you don't get that weak 1, so you still get the TMM of 3 with that lower jump, that 14 jump. That's actually really, really awesome. Not amazing damage. 222, the armor 5, structure 2, special E&E or energy. Nothing really all that interesting. Oh, overheat 0. But the movement on this guy is amazing. It's so fast for a medium mech, and with decent armor. Of course, yeah, you have high movement, good armor, you're gonna, fall out on the damage, obviously, right? You can't have everything. So that is the Legionnaire 2K. On the flip side, we have the Legionnaire 2D. Slightly more expensive at $39. It has 14 no jump. Still that TMM of 3, which is just so nice. 330, which is actually, I'd say that's better than the 22. What did it say? 222. I would rather take 330 as, like not a lot of the game is spent at long range, at least the ones that we do. Still overheat 0, 5 armor, 2 structure, and no specials whatsoever. But yeah, it's hard to say. You lose the jump from this one, and that extra movement, and the E&E special, and this one's cheaper. The only thing you're really losing is damage, which, maybe you want that 330. I think I would absolutely take this one, just, for that crazy 18-inch movement and the 14 jump, and it being cheaper. Yeah. I like the, wait, which one was it called? The 2K variant. I think I like the 2K variant on Alpha Strike. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the 2K variant is actually the one with the PPC. And if you look in the picture there, it doesn't have a PPC. It actually has the RAC5. But whatever. So, pilot card, real quick. We have Gorton von Trinidad, who has the Human TRO special. And we have Donghai Ren, who has the Marksman special. Sorry, I know it's a little fuzzy, but it's Marksman. That is the Legionnaire. Nice looking mech. I prefer the RAC5 to the ERPPC, actually. It's that kind of Gatling gun look. So, can we make a group photo here? Horse are in the back. Gunsmith on the side. Hellspawn over here. That's a cool looking troop. It's a nice looking group of mechs. Feels like they'd be like a group of like friends who are none of them are anything like each other. The gunsmith is a weird nerd. the enforcer is just like the jock. The legionnaire, I don't know. I'm taking this metaphor too far. Anyway, so now I wanted to actually go a little deeper and have a look at the record sheets for all of those variants. So just give me a second. We'll set that up. All right. So we'll start with the Enforcer 5D. Got a 585 movement X250XL engine, 50 tons. It's got an ER large laser, an LB10X AC, and one small laser. The LB10X has regular slug ammo as well as cluster ammo, which gives you that nice -1 to hit. Really nice. As for armor, pretty decent armor. Actually, decent armor for sure. Got 5 on each back torso side, which is good. It protects you from like a medium laser hit at least. Heat sinks. Heat sinks is where this thing falls short. Only 12 single heat sinks. And if you come back up here and have a look at that ER large laser, it does 12 heat all on its own. So if you really want to fire all the weapons on this thing, it's going to overheat pretty quickly. Right? So I was talking about the case on the Alpha Strike card and how that is actually useful on the Alpha Strike card, whereas on this mech it is completely useless. This is case, not case 2. So what that does is it contains the explosion to the section that it's in. It does not transfer then to the center torso. However, if your ammo explodes in this right torso, you're dead because you have an XL Fusion engine with 3 engine slots here at the top. That's 3 engine crits. That's a toasted mech. He's done, out of the game. So it's really silly that it has a case here on this side. You could easily take it out and put in another ton of... Maybe you could put another ton of armor on. I'm not sure if you can actually do that. Or not. Maybe an extra weapon. Who knows? Maybe another heat sink. That's what it needs. It needs no case, and it needs at least another heat sink so that it can at least run and shoot its ER large laser. I mean, most of the time I'd be shooting the LB10X, but it would be nice if you could shoot both, right? Anyway, enough with the Enforcer 5D. Let's go take a look at the 5R. So this one has a re-engineered large laser, which actually does less heat. That's nice. Still got the LB10X, still got the cluster ammunition and slug ammunition, and an ER small laser instead of a regular small laser. The armor is pretty much identical. I think it is identical. I'm not going to go look exactly. But yeah, on this variant, we have 10 double heat sinks, so it actually can shoot all of its weapons and run and even jump and still sink everything. So big difference in the heat sinking abilities between those two variants for sure. Also, this one actually has case 2 where its ammo is, which is way, way better. All you do is blow out like one of your back armor panels or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it is, but you don't lose the entire torso and therefore take 2 engine hits. This one also only has a light fusion engine and, of course, 464 instead of 585. So, yeah, it's a little better in some ways, definitely better in the heat sinking and that case situation. Better at shooting all of its weapons, but it's a little slower. I think I would take this one if I'm honest. So, moving on, we have the Gunsmith CH11NG, and this is the only variant I could find of the thing. The CH11NGA doesn't seem to exist anywhere, but that doesn't really matter. This thing is crazy. Walking 10, running 15, and it has mask. Like that, it can run up to 20. That's crazy. As for weapons, it's got 4 medium X pulse lasers. The armor, not great, low armor, but it is reflective armor. So only half damage from energy weapons, which can be really, really good. And like I said before, you're probably not going to get into melee range. This thing is way too fast for that. Now, the classic version has a big drawback to the Alpha Strike version. The Alpha Strike version represents this as having only one structure, but the truth is these XXL fusion engines are um, very hot. They run hotter than regular engines, and you have to take that into account if you're running this mech in Classic. So specifically, if you stand still, it's 2 heat. If you walk, it's 4 heat, and if you run, it's 6 heat. Jumping doubles your heat with a minimum of 6. So with 20 heat sinks and 4 weapons that do 6 heat each, you're at 24 already. So you can only fire 3, but if you're going to be running, you can fire 2 of those weapons maybe. Yeah, so heating problems for this one for sure. And I honestly I hate these XL fusion engines. I mean, it's not worse if you lose the right torso. The mech's still dead, as you know, just like if you had the a regular XL fusion engine. But the extra heat that it builds up every turn, not my thing. Reflective armor is really neat unless you get into a fist fight, and then it sucks. And this guy doesn't have a lot of it anyway. Anyway, that's the only version of this one, so we will move on to the Hellspawn 7D specifically. Now, this one, 696, 45 tonner, 270 XL. This is a kind of a funny mech. Uh, Low armor, very low armor for a medium mech like that. And the weapon loadout is So you have 2 LRM-10s, which have a minimum of 6 hexes, and you have 3 medium pulse lasers, which have a maximum of 6 hexes. So there is no range where you can shoot all of these things without at least a penalty to your LRM-10s, right? Um, so I'm not a fan of LRM-10s in general. Inner Sphere LRM-10s, specifically because of the minimum. Clan LRMs are great without the minimum. Also, you get an ECM suite on this guy. 696 is pretty good, though. Check out the heating, 20. And, okay, well, you generate 20 from firing everything, but that's usually a pretty, sign of a pretty well balanced. You don't need to shoot absolutely. You're never going to be able to shoot everything all at the same time, you know. So honestly, the heating on this is probably more than fine. As for the ammo, well, that has no case, or case 2. So if this gets blown off, it gets blown off, and you lose that whole section. You lose the whole mech essentially. So you might want to keep that left torso away from the enemy. Yeah, so the Hellspawn 7D will move on to the 10SR, which, if I'm honest, it's honestly basically a completely different mech altogether. 698 movement profile, way more armor, completely different loadout. So you got 2 light PPCs, 2 ER medium lasers. You got active probe, you got tag, and the ECM suite. As for heating, you got 20 heating or heat sinks, and it has no ammo to explode. So a really very different mech. It would play differently. Um, this is like a fast flanker with good armor that you can, you know, you can scan those objectives, you can tag enemies, you can get in the way of their Artemis stuff or their C3 networks. It's a good utility mech, Really, this is a really decent mech. Whereas I'd say the Hellspawn 70, meh, not so great. Anyway, moving on. Moving on to the Legionnaire. Now, I love this. I love when I feel like somebody had an idea and just went with it. We'll put one rotary AC5 on it, a targeting computer, make it go fast, and put a bunch of armor. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Forget about heating. You don't need heating. Although it has 10 double heat sinks, that is completely superfluous. You don't need it. It could get away with 10 single heat sinks really easily. This does one heat per shot, so it does a maximum of 6 heat. You can shoot 6 shots on an RAC5. The jamming chance goes up with each shot you do per turn. Great, very powerful weapon. Potential 30 damage. Not likely because you still have to shoot on the cluster hits table. And I would avoid shooting 6 shots as you're probably likely to jam it at some point. Yeah, but the movement. This guy, that's a fast flanker with good armor is exactly what this thing is. And it's good at it. As for the ammo situation, we have a whole ton of it, or 3 whole tons of it, honestly. Enough. Like, more than enough, for sure. And no case or anything, so that ammo goes, that mech is down. But I do like it. I just like, the targeting computer with the RAC5, that can be really very powerful. Nice mech. Legionnaire 2D. This one, I really like the RAC5, not for any good reason, not because it's better. Just, I don't know. It's kind of like the risk. No risk, no fun. The risk that it'll jam, but the chance that it could do so much damage. You can get like so many headshots. I like the RAC5, but this variant, it has an ERPPC, which has its benefits. It's, and this, yeah. So let's have a look. 7, 11, 14, and 7. So it does have mask, does it? Yes, mask down here. So this thing can go really fast if it wants to. That is extremely powerful. Plus the 7 jump jets. Very, like 7 jump, that's just awesome. You're going to get a TMM 4. ERPPC has no ammo, no chance of exploding. It's only going to do 15 damage. Oh, no, it's only going to do 10 damage, excuse me. It's an inner sphere ERPPC. So, yeah, significantly less damage than the rotary AC5, but it's always placed into the same location, and the range on it is significantly higher. I do like this mech specifically. It's hard to say. I don't really like Mask. Mask has a tendency to fail on me. I tend to roll 2s when activating it and cripple my mech, or so I've had bad experience with Mask. I'm weary of it, but that 7 jump, oh, that's so nice. And Mask is always good, like if you in desperate situations, roll to turn on your mask. I like it. Risky. As for heating, we still have the same 20, but this is going to, that's going to create, it's still fine because this only does 15 heat, and the only thing is if you were to jump 7 and shoot your ERPPC, you'd only overheat by 2, honestly, so that's actually pretty great heating on that mech. Good armor all around. I like the Legionnaire 2K. I like the Legionnaire 2D too, and it's really hard for me to say which I like more because I really like the RAC5, but I like that 7 jump on this thing, and I love the targeting computer. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of this video. I should stop it here because it's probably getting too long. How long have I gone on already? 40 minutes. Oh dear. Okay. So that's it for me. Hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Yeah. Bye bye.